gotta keep going. It gets hard, I know it. Test only come to the destined. Yeah, it's hard to be chosen. I done seen my lows. Yeah, that's why I got hope. Trouble don't last always. I must get through it, okay. Man, I'm gon' be all I can for you, all I can for me. I'm just saying, I'm gon' be all I can. That's what I came to do. I'm gon' see this through. I can't stop right now. Gotta keep on running. Ain't no turning back. Gotta keep on running. Cause I just feel so close. I know this ain't for nothing. Gotta keep on running. Hey, and I bet I'm going
right there.
Hey sis, how are you?
Sis, I'm good. Like, oh my goodness! Like every time you ask, I can't help but laugh. I don't have a choice but to be good. You know what I mean? How are you?
I'm doing good. And I feel the same. No matter what comes, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah, and and that's I hope everybody else feels like that too. I know it's hard to put yourself in that place, and especially when it's like different things that might be coming at you, or you different feelings or situations, but you got to learn how to be good in those situations and just like, yo, I'm about to laugh at this because this is some nonsense.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like you really have to, it's about your faith, it's about your relationship with God. It's about your belief to make you get to that place to be like, yo, I'm good. And then you just but laugh. It's like, how are you? And you like, listen, my old self would just run it all down, but the new me, or I would just hold it all in and be like, I'm good, but no smile on my face. I'm all right. Yeah, for real, I'm good. I'm good. You know that facade you used to put on, that mask you used to wear, and now it's like now you can say because you're in such a different place in your life and a different season and a walk with God, you can't help but to say, no, I'm good,
Yeah.
and mean that thing even while you're laughing, even while it might pinch a little, it might sting a little. You can still really say I'm good because God's got it and God is doing something, and it's the things that are coming are try to meant to distract you, to throw you off, to shake you, but you really got to say it. And that's why it's so important. Like, man, so many times I wanted to give up, I didn't think I'd do it. I had to really get to a place of, people used to be like, oh, have somebody keep running. Man, I'm tired of running.
Listen.
You ever been tired of running?
Yes. Yes.
And but it was those people who was in that place they was good, that was telling me keep running, because they knew what the outcome would be if I kept running, and it was necessary for me to keep running. Like, even when you're tired, keep running. You know what I mean? Because finish the race, run the race, stay in the race. Don't tap out the race. Don't try to hand it off to somebody else. It's your race, and you gotta keep running. And it was those people, that reminded me. But I used to be like, oh, like I know. But then other people like, I'm tired of running. Don't tell me keep running. You run. You like,
Right.
I'm just like, and did you ever feel like that? Like, don't tell me to run. You don't know my life.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know what place I'm in right now.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm dealing with. You don't know what I keep dealing with. Like, but the reality is, that person that's really good, who really got that relationship with God, who has that discernment, they know. God gives them, what I'm saying? And my thing is, y'all have so much more in common than you really know, and y'all share so much in the story, but they're good because they was there.
Right.
And it's those people that's transparent that could tell you, to remind you. Like, I had to go through it first so I could tell you that I'm good, to show you that you can be here
Right.
while running, while while the attacks are coming, while different things are coming your way, while is different tests and trials are being thrown at you, fiery darts and everything else, you can still say, yo, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because God is really, really doing something. And he's protecting you. He's watching over you. Like, I don't even gotta say nothing. God, you saw that?
Right. That's right. God's gonna handle it.
Yeah. So it wasn't easy to get to this place. It sometimes, like I said, keep running used to agitate me when people used to tell me that. Like, Don't tell me like I'm over it. And then but then that I will be convicted sometimes. I'm not gonna say all the time. I'm not gonna say all the time. Sometimes I was stubborn, like, nope, don't care what you say, I ain't doing
Right.
it.
Right. Because you wanted to tap out in that moment. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
wanted someone to validate you tapping out. And when they don't validate you tapping out and just say, keep running, it does rub the wrong way because it's like, I've been running. You know what I mean? You don't even realize I'm running. I feel like I'm running in place at sometimes.
yeah. Like
And
I'm
that's
like a standstill, a motionless bike. I'm just
right.
there.
Right. And that's what's so tiring is because I'm running in place and I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere.
Nope.
But I feel like that's God's way of preparing us, because he does
Yes.
prepare us for disappointments, for, you know what I mean, upsets, for all types of stuff. If we just listen to him, he's preparing us. He prepares
Yes.
our emotions so that when those things do happen, we can hopefully see the bigger picture of it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
hopefully. And understand that sometimes you may not be running in place, you just may be running at a slower pace,
Mm-hmm.
but you're still
Sometimes, like,
running.
like marathon runners, like, I used to watch it when I used to, grew up in New York. I used to watch the marathon, the race. When they had it every year, I'll be outside, I'll be in attendance
Mhm.
because they used to run right down in my neighborhood to go. They had to come through my neighborhood to keep going to where they were going. And I remember, I saw people who were running. I saw some people who was trotting.
Mhm.
You saw it's all different paces. I saw some people who was doing that quick walk with that switch.
Yeah. That's right.
I saw people in wheelchairs, but they was moving. You know what I'm saying? Like they may not have all been moving at the same pace, but the point of the matter was they were all still moving.
Right, right.
So even when you run the race and somebody tells you to keep running, they're not necessarily saying that you got to be, Rudy the Rabbit. You ain't got to be, the road runner, but they want you to don't stop. Keep running, keep moving. Don't get stagnant. Keep going because it's necessary to keep. There's something for you to learn in this. You're going to grow from this. Some things are going to die for you that need to die, but keep running. God is going to show you something. He's going to teach you. Your relationship is going to cultivate. Your prayer life is going to get, becoming so intense and so, your praise and your worship is going to be, it's just going to be something different but you got to keep. And those are the things that keep you in that place of movement. And it is, your study time. Really studying and getting an understanding of God's word, and you seeing yourself in that word, and God coming out in that word, and to get into jumping off the pages to giving you what you need in your life at that moment. That's why you got to keep running. Those are the things that help you stay in a place of movement.
That's right.
That's your Gatorade, because in the marathon we were handing out cups of Gatorade and stuff like that, to get their electrolytes up, to get and help them with their thirst at the same time. Those are the things, like God is your Gatorade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He keeps your spiritual electrolytes going. You know what I mean? When you need that extra boost, and you feel like you done sweated all things out. You like like the athletes. I done gave everything. I'm worn out. I'm tired. Nah, take a drink of me. Drink of me. Drink from the well. Don't run dry. I got your everlasting Gatorade. I'm gonna replenish those electrolytes. I'm gonna replenish what you need to give you that extra strength, to give you that to keep moving, to keep running, and to not stop. I need the movement to continue. Okay, you slow down a little bit though, but don't stop. You're gonna pick that pace back up. Because right now in this season, you're a little wounded. You know what I'm saying? You're walking with a limp, but you walk it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's so necessary, because there's going to be wounds in your life.
Right.
You're gonna get wounded sometimes. Some things, but you ain't die, it ain't kill you.
Right.
It ain't kill you. You know what I'm saying? So that you know what I mean? Like, and it's like you got to keep moving. You just like you see somebody who's an amputee. You have those that are encouragers that when they lose a limb, you have those that are like, oh, I can still do the same thing I always did. Say they don't stop. They don't let the loss of a limb stop them from moving. Don't let the loss of a limb to put you in a place like they're just heavy, they're stuck. And now I'm disabled. I can't do anything anymore. I can't perform to my fullness. I'm not my full self because I'm missing a part of me. Listen. You know what I'm saying? Even if there's some things that you don't need, but even if you don't have it, you still can move. You still can operate. You still can function. You still can be utilized and used. You still can be an example to show somebody else how to keep moving, even when you lose something.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't stop, and you don't get stuck in the grief. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's so important. That's why it's so important to keep moving out. But that I used to get stuck. Yes. Did I feel like the limb that was lost and that fell off? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the
It
truth.
ain't no joke. Listen, I went from pitch black places to dark places. Cause when it's pitch black, you can't see nothing in front of you.
Right.
I can't see, but when it's dark, I can see in the dark.
Right. A little
I can
bit.
maneuver
Yep.
around in the dark. I could, you know what I'm saying? When it's pitch black, you don't know what. It could be a whole person standing right here in
Right.
front of you, but you can't see it. But when it's dark, I can see maybe a silhouette or something because there's some type of light that's coming in from somewhere, or there's something, or my eyes have adjusted where I can see better.
Right.
So it's like as my eyes start to adjust more, you know what I'm saying? Then it went from a place of darkness to, okay, some light came in. So I saw a light, and it got to a point I started to wonder about the light. So then I start to, go towards the light.
That's
Then
right.
after I got towards the light, I kept moving. You know what I'm saying? I went towards the light. Well, now, that feel good.
Mm.
It feel warm on my skin. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's feeling something. I'm feeling this glow on me. I'm gonna keep going toward it. So as I kept moving toward it, and then I got to keep feeling it and keep feeling it, it kept growing. I wanted it to a point in the matter. It took me out of a place of darkness, and I got a taste of the light.
Yeah.
So when I went from tasting the light to loving the light to wanting to live in the light to allowing the light to be a part of me to become the light.
Right.
So I had to keep moving. So,
Yeah.
but I started from a pitch black place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was, man, listen, to be I know what it is to be in the pitch dark, pitch black.
Yeah. I was just about to
That's the
say.
light show. That's not just your lights cut off. That's the whole city lights off. It's a
Right.
blackout. Okay.
Everything around you is dark. Yes.
Yes. And that's exactly what, I came from that place. Everything around me was dark. But then at the same time, I recognized the company that I was keeping was dark.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't come into the light because I was surrounded by darkness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then realize that, or I was surrounded by people who kept pushing me back in the dark when I was coming out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's you just have to be mindful and say, like, listen, darkness is not who you are. You know what I mean? You shine bright for a reason, and nobody gets to dim your light and make you stop running. You keep running, and the more you run, the closer you get to God, the more you shine. And unless it's gonna be some people that, like I said, who just can't handle that.
Right.
But because they can't handle it, don't mean you stop running.
That's
Because
right.
you lose some relationships and some friendships, don't stop running. They wasn't meant to run with you.
It wasn't meant to run. Yeah, some people just don't have the stamina, or they're
Oh,
not
say
willing
that.
to get it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, they're not willing to get the stamina to keep up. I mean, things in their life, come and all types of stuff, or they might just have a different path that they need to be taking. That's not the same
Yeah.
as yours, but you got to run the race for yourself. And that's just,
Yes.
that's where I'm getting to the point of where I'm just running this race for myself. Along the way, I want God to use me the way that I am supposed to be used, and I want to make sure that I am living in my purpose and fulfilling my purpose. But I'm running this race, knowing that it's not given to the swift, but to the one that endures to the end. So I'm building my endurance, and that's what sometimes running in place, quote unquote, or running at a slow pace does. It helps build your endurance, because if you can run at a consistent pace for a minute, you know what I mean? It builds something inside. It builds that muscle, you know what I mean? And the retention and all of that other stuff. So, and muscle memory, so that when you're tired, your body just kicks in, and then you just keep running and keep running and keep running. And that's what I'm looking for, is the endurance part of it all. And I believe God has given it. In this season, I believe God has really, 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 I've endured so much, but I'm just gonna keep
Yes.
going. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I'm gonna keep fighting, and I'm gonna keep living, and I'm gonna keep my mind stayed on God, so that peace can come, that's beyond understanding, because it's real.
Yeah.
Like, even when my mind just wants to think crazy things and wander because I'm stressed, or I'm tired, or I'm burnt out, or whatever it is, I'm able to bring myself back in, through practice and really just communication. I'm telling you, like, the better you get at communication, the better, for me, I get at handling my emotions. Because when I don't communicate, when I don't talk, when I don't have a conversation with somebody about how I'm feeling, and I just play it in my head, then I'm liable to go, all the way over to Timbuktu with it. But when I actually have a conversation, then God is able to bring me back in and be like, okay, see, this is why. Because our own thinking can really lead us down some bad paths.
Yeah.
And lack of communication can really take us down the wrong street to run down. And we running towards something that we shouldn't be running towards. But communication really has helped and verbalizing things and letting things out and all that just really, really has been helpful. And guiding my emotions back to a steady place. So I do admonish people to communicate, when something's bothering you and you're able to communicate with, say, if it's a person or a situation that happens, just make sure you communicate, because I guarantee the way you're thinking, maybe 90, 85% of the time, the way you're thinking is not the way they thought.
Yeah.
Well,
communication, and that's the thing, but the communication is the key of life. You know what I mean? Like it's in your relationship with God. You communicate with God. It's in your you communicate at sometimes with yourself. You communicate with other people. You know what I mean? You communicate, or with your spouse. You communicate with your children. You communicate with your loved ones. You communicate at your job, your friends, and communication is so important. A lot of times people just be like, somebody hears something or somebody says something or somebody's talking, but you didn't really hear what they said because you weren't listening.
Yeah, you weren't listening. That's right.
So my thing is like it gets you to a place where okay, because you don't communicate well, you miss the bigger point. You miss what somebody was really trying to tell you, and you because of that miscommunication or lack thereof, or you're not not listening to because sometimes a part of communication is listening, paying attention, listening, and hearing what somebody is saying to you.
Yeah.
It's that's another part of the communication. It's not just always speaking, and saying it's when somebody's also speaking to you. Did you listen? Did you really hear what they said?
That's
It's
right.
important because you don't want to misinterpret what they said. If you're only hearing but not listening,
That's right.
you're just hearing a bunch of words, but you're not listening to the words that are being spoken and how they're being spoken.
Amen.
So and that's a very important thing, and sometimes because of the miscommunications, people also stop running. People give up. People quit. They tap out, and it makes it hard. It makes it very hard. So I'm a firm believer. I say all the time. I tell my grandkids. I tell my coworkers, use your words.
That's right.
You don't like something, speak up. Use your words, but use your words properly.
That's right.
And then when you use your words, make sure your delivery is right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. Because my thing is like you can say all the words you want to say, but if your delivery is stinky, I don't want to hear nothing you gotta say.
It's true.
I'm serious. I don't listen to funk. I don't. So my thing is if you can't come and so even in your agitations, let me pull back. Let me take a moment. Let me assess the situation. Let me get my words right. So when I can speak, when I can deliver them right, because I don't want them to come off wrong. And I don't want my body language or any of those things to do that. And nor do I want to come off in any type of way, when I'm supposed to be helping somebody to hinder somebody and mess up their run or, to mess up their race. I don't want to do that. So I have to make sure that I communicate well with God first so I can also communicate right with others.
That's right.
So it's an important thing for me, in that particular way, and doing what I'm supposed to do and how we're supposed to do it. But you said something, about running for yourself.
Yeah.
That's very important because for so long, for a major part of my life, I was running for everybody else and never myself.
Mm.
That's very draining and tiring as well. Because I wasn't running for them for the right reasons. You understand? It's not like I was running for them because they were my assignment from God and I was doing the work that God called me to do. I was running for them because I was people pleasing. I was running for them, to give them what they needed and what they wanted, but I was forgetting about me. But I was running on empty for myself, so I didn't really have any energy to run for myself.
Yeah.
I was running for everybody else.
Yeah.
Give them what they need, help them with this, make sure they got this, take care of that for them. I was running their race for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
We
that's
can't do
also that's
that.
very tiring. You can't run somebody else's race.
That's
You
the
just
truth.
can't.
That's the
And
truth.
and I did that too. So that was another reason why when it's my time to run, I don't want to run. I don't feel like running for me.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I want somebody else to run for me. Like,
For
am I
me,
proud of it?
right.
No, I'm supposed to be running for myself and teaching others how to run for themselves. That's what I was supposed to be doing, running for myself, and while running for myself, teaching others how to run for themselves.
Yeah.
To start the race. Don't just come out quick, because if you come out too fast, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be burnt out. You're gonna lose all your energy before you have a chance. So you got to pace yourself in the race. You got to pace yourself in the movement, and then you pick up the speed and the momentum as God. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what God does with us. He builds us up. He builds up our character. He builds up how we're supposed to do this thing, what we're supposed to do. So a lot of the things that we go through in those dark places, in those times we feel like we don't want to run, we want to give up, that God is building our character in those moments. He's making us stronger to strengthen us for the race, because he knows there's a bigger race to run. So he'd be like, stay with me, stick with me. I need you to stick with me. I need you to stay in with me. Let me continue to be your coach. I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? He that Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. I want to learn karate. I don't want, you know what I mean? But it's like, but he's teaching us something, but in that Mr. Miyagi way. Right. And my thing is, because we so caught up in wanting to do things, but we want to do it, how we want to do it, how fast we want to do it, where we want to go in the race, in the journey, that we misinterpret and we get upset, and we're not really paying attention to what he's trying to teach us.
Right.
And those times, in those moments when you really are tired, like I was trying to build up your stamina, because I knew at this particular point in your life you wanted to quit. You're gonna want to quit. So I was trying to build up your stamina then, but you wasn't listening to me. You wasn't paying attention because you were so busy with everything else and everybody else.
Yeah.
Or you was in such a dark place I couldn't even reach you. You ever been in such a dark place where God can't reach you? That's a lonely place.
Yeah.
That's a lonely place.
Yeah.
Those were the times where you know, suicide I thought was my only option. That's when I took those times when I tried to take my life, because it was a lonely place for me. But even when the time he couldn't get through to me, he still protected me.
Yeah.
So I didn't die. You know, and I'm just like, I'm so thankful for that. And you know, and it's just like, and I don't never ever want to go to those places where he can't get through because I'm in such a dark place. So if I have to run, not just for myself, I gotta run for others, to help show other people how to run. That's why I gotta run, so I can show other people how to run and continue to run, because I don't want them in that dark place where you even contemplate taking your own life.
Yeah, because it gets hard out there. It's hard out there. It's hard. Challenging.
It's hard out there. Oh my Lord. You know I'm about to sing, but I ain't gonna sing. Yeah. That's me and my kids' movie, okay?
Are you gonna sing It's Hard Out There for a Pimp?
Yeah, you know it, you know it. Hard out there for
it is. It's hard.
It's real hard. It's so that's because I'm a movie person. My family are movie peoples, and we got a movie or a song for every situation. That's just us. So that's the first thing my mind goes to, that kind of stuff. But it is very, very hard out there.
Yeah.
And you know, and sometimes people look at your life and they're like, oh, you got it easy. Oh, you be like, oh, you think so, huh?
Right. That's right.
Baby, come on over here and try these shoes. Come on, try these size 12s. Tell me how they feel when you walk a little bit in them.
Right.
It ain't what you thought it was, did you? Oh, now you see. This take work.
Take work, yeah.
This is a daily work.
Yeah. Maintenance.
I fight daily to stay in this race with God. You understand what I'm saying? Because every day I know the enemy trying to take me out.
Yeah, man.
So every day I fight daily. I continue to run. I continue to stay connected with God. I continue to run with God. I'm not running by myself. I'm running with God. And that's the great thing about it. He's right there with me. You coach me from the sideline, talking me through it, but running with me. And that's the great part about it. Because without him, please, I'd have dropped dead a long time ago.
Yeah, exhausted. Yeah.
Yes. Sound all out of breath, overweight. I was out of shape. You know, no type of stamina with me, begging for water. Can't even, just laying dead on the floor. Like, but it's because, you know, God. It's because God. It's not an easy thing. And like I said, it's a hard thing. Sometimes it's a lonely thing, but it's a good lonely. Not that I feel so alone, I'm lost type of lonely. That's where I used to be. But now with God, I'm an alone. I feel sometimes alone sometimes, or lonely, because he puts me in places of isolation at times. But at the same time, I understand it. I don't complain about it, because I know what he's doing is necessary. If I'm in a place of isolation, he's doing something.
Yeah.
he's cultivating something, he's teaching me something, and he's growing something. You know what I'm saying? He's preparing me for something. So I take those moments gladly. Well, before I used to be like, oh my God, nobody's here. I'm so alone. I'm all by myself. I'm lonely. No, God is with me. It's just that I need some steal away time. Just like Jesus had to steal away sometimes, I have to steal away sometimes. So in that place of isolation, he's doing something. It's a preparation. It's something being done. So it's like I like that place of isolation where I used to isolate myself
Right.
from everything and everybody because I wanted to be numb, and I was in that place. I didn't want to be bothered with anything or anybody because I was just in a dark place. I was numb, and I was numb alone. I didn't, you know what I mean? So it ain't easy, but it gets easier.
Yes.
Some days are easier than others.
Yes.
But because my mindset is I'm good. You know what I mean? It's just like this is not, this is not a struggle. This is a situation, but this is something that God gonna get us through. This is a testimony. This is a
Yeah.
testimonial situation. That's how I look at a lot of things. That's just another testimony.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I believe it's all meant to be a help, to help someone out. You know what I mean? What we go through can help someone out in the future. And I do believe God uses what we go through, everything we go through. He
Yeah.
uses it to be a help, and a minister, to minister so we can minister to someone else, so we can help guide them, to let them know that it's gonna be okay. It may not look like it is right now, and that's okay.
Yeah. But stay sane in it. Like,
Stay, yeah,
don't feel like you're gonna lose your mind. Even
yeah,
on those days you be like, oh my God, I can't take one more thing. And then be like, God be like, I got you, girl. And you don't gotta carry none of that. And like, you sure enough right, I sure enough don't. Here you go, Father.
right. I don't,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? He reminds me that quickly, and as quickly as he reminds me, as quickly as I give it up. I don't got to carry this. Like, you
right,
know what I'm saying? I continue to run. I don't have to stay stagnant. I don't have to be stuck in a situation. I can keep moving.
right,
I refuse to be stuck in quicksand.
right.
So, God is going to help me out of it. He's going to be, you know what I'm saying? He's my vine. He's going to give me that leverage I need to pull up out of that. So I don't be stuck in that, so I can continue to move and I'm not sinking and staying stuck in a place. I'm moving and constantly running, you know, like I said, with God and for God, because it's so necessary, but it's such a big part of who I am. I get such a fulfillment and the joy for running, for continually to run. Where before I didn't understand that. But the more I run, the better I feel. Because it's
Amen.
like I know that it's for a greater good. It's for a greater purpose. It's for somebody else, who was once, lame and they couldn't walk, but they go from a place of being lame to standing up on no 2 feet, and now okay, now they walk and they move, and they're doing everything that they need to do. Now they're getting up at, like I said, a slow pace, a slow trot, or they building up their leg muscles. Whatever has to be built is being built up. That muscle is being built up to prepare them for the run. So I get to be there to help in that, be a help in that particular way, to either be the water or to be the seed. You know what I'm saying? To be the seed or the water, so God can give the increase. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the run. I may not ever naturally run a marathon, but I'm gonna constantly run a spiritual one. Okay.
Right. That my spiritual stamina is on point.
But it's the man. Listen, that's just I'm like, where you come from?
Yeah.
that right there is okay. That's what I'm talking about. Type
Yeah.
of. It's like, okay, God, I see what you're doing, and I thank you. I thank you for the build up. There was the times where have I ever saw myself running this race with God? No, it was a time in my life I didn't ever see that. I couldn't imagine it, think it possible. And that's those dark places and those dark times. Um, there was times, could I imagine like that I'm not just only running the race, but running for God and running with God. There was times where I knew I was supposed to be running with him, but I was running the opposite direction. I was running, but I was running the wrong way,
Yeah.
running in the wrong direction. I was taking some detours. I thought, oh, let me just cut down this little side street, put me to a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
That God said, I didn't tell you to go that way. That's what you get. That's why you stuck there
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Now it's like, listen to me, get back on track and stay the course. So it was times where I ran in the wrong direction. Um, because
Yeah.
then it was times, I was then when I started getting to really know God a little better and he started showing me things, I really started running the wrong direction. I was running, but this time I was running because I was afraid.
Mhm. Mhm.
You about to do what with who? You about to use me to do what? Boy, listen, don't you know who I am?
Right.
It's like I would talk to God that, and at the same time, of course, He knows who you are. He created you. But my mom say, "My God, do you know what I've done? Like, you want to use? Like, are you serious? Like, that's how I used to think. So there was times where I didn't think I was good enough to run a race.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie. It was times when I didn't feel good enough to run a race. I didn't think I deserved to run the race.
Mm. And
Yeah,
why was that? Why did you feel that way?
I don't know. From some mistakes that I made in my life. Sometimes I just felt like, what did I have to offer
Right.
to be good enough in that race? That was the biggest thing. Like, I'm nobody important.
Right.
I didn't feel like I wasn't nothing special. That's how I felt about myself when I had that place of low self-esteem because it wasn't like I had any encouragement and it wasn't like I had or ever heard those type of things in the natural. So when you don't hear it, you don't believe it. And when you're ostracized or, constantly being picked on or bullied, you used to, and this is by, parent,
Mhm.
cousins, family, then you got strangers and everybody's doing it. If everybody see me that way, why would I be worthy enough to run a race with God?
Right.
Nobody sees me as anything. So to when you feel like nothing, you don't what if I feel like nothing, what do I have to offer you? I have nothing to offer God. And let alone people, because clearly people don't like me for some reason because they all treat me so poorly.
Mm.
So, I felt like that like a time in my life. I'm not good enough to run in the race with God. I'm nothing. And it's hard when people can make you feel like that. It's a
Mhm.
sad thing, but I thank God that, when he built my shoulders, he made me who I was. He knew I was gonna make it. He knew I was gonna get hurt. He knew it was gonna be some different things gonna happen in my life, but he was still there, and he still got me. He still loved me and loved upon me. And as I got to know him, he really, healed me from a lot of those things that kept me in a place of broken. And I realized, it was just all a trick of the enemy because he didn't want me running the race with God because he knew he saw a glimpse of my future. He saw a
Mhm.
glimpse of who I was in God and what God was going to have me doing. So because he saw that, he was doing everything in his power to destroy that and to stop that. So
Mm.
I wouldn't put on my running shoes and get in the race.
Right.
So I'm thankful that I got past that place,
Amen.
and I'm thankful to God for that because that's those pitch black places. You know what I'm saying? It's that pitch black.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can't see in front of your face type of nigga thinking there's no way out type of feelings. And I know people feel like that. I know people feel like that because I'm not the only person. It's a lot of people that feel like that or have felt like that. But to finally, like I said, when you come from the pitch black to a darkness, there's some type of light trying to get in, and it's just like when I started to see it, and then I started to go toward it because I got curious about it.
Right.
I was, where that light coming from? Because it was just pitch black. Where's that light coming from? So if there's a light and it was from a place that was worth for pitch black, somewhere there's got to be some type of opening.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I had to find it, and when there was an opening, that means there's a way out.
Yeah.
So the light was just guiding me toward that way out. It was guiding me toward that exit. It was guiding me from that place of being in a place of bondage to a place of freedom and liberty. And that's why, but if I didn't move toward it or start taking a pace and start running toward it, I would have never found it. So, it was very important for me, even on those times like, when I wanted to give up, God would always send the word, you can't give
Amen.
up. Don't stop. Keep running. don't give up, don't quit. Like he will always send me some type of word, some way. If it was in the sermon, if it was in a song, if it was in a movie, like some way he got a message through to me. And and that's how I think. I can't talk about nobody else, but I could talk about how I feel like God works for me
No,
when
I
he
agree.
talk to me sometimes, okay? To make sure I hear him clearly, like, girl, you need to know this is me. And
Right.
then like out of nowhere, like, well, I'm watching this movie and everything I need is in that movie, every type of message. But and next I'm boohoo crying. I'm just like, oh my God, but it affects my life and it reminds me and it
Right.
helped me, in different types of things. God, because God will find a way to get your attention when He's trying to talk to you.
That's the truth.
He will find a way. He will find a way. I need, because He needs you to know that He loves you, that He hears you, that He cares about you, that He's there for you, that I'm there. I'm that opening, I'm that light, I'm that way out for you. I just want to love on you. I want to heal you. I want to help you through these things. Like, I know you might be angry, even if I know that you're angry at me, I still want to love on you. I still want to love you through this, because you're angry with me because you think I'm letting this happen to you because you're misguided and you don't have to understand, and you think it's some type of punishment, or you and when to get, like I said, to really learn and get to that relationship with God for myself, and just get to that place where I just really just got into a place of intimacy with God. It just changed my whole trajectory. It changed my way of being. It just changed everything about me. But one thing I will say is, like, in all that things that I went through, it made my heart bigger. Like, like, you would think that all the things I went through, I would have had a bitter heart, but I always had a loving heart. Even when people try to break me and hurt me in such a way, I still had a loving heart, and I will find some way deep down inside to give them, even when I didn't understand what forgiveness was. And it's just like, and but it's like people just kept breaking it. But even if they broke it, I still believed in love. I still believed in goodness. I still believe that people were kind. It was kindness in people. Even when I didn't know God at that time, but that's what I felt.
Right.
Like, all people ain't bad. Everybody can't be like this. Or if I heard a love song, like, somebody experienced that. Somebody had to experience that to write that. I read a love book. A love story. Somebody experienced that to write this. Some of this stuff is fictional, but some of this stuff is real. Somebody experienced this, or they desire this, because it's got to come from somewhere.
Right.
So, in that thing, my heart just got bigger. And then the more I got to know God, the love that I had just grew and grew more and more and more. And I've always been a loving person.
Yeah.
And I'm just like a loving person. I just love to love on people. I really do.
Yeah.
I love to love on people. I love to see people get healed. I love to hug somebody and for them to cry, to let go of their pain. I love that. Not for me, but for them. Because, oh my God, they got to release.
Yeah.
They got a breakthrough. So it's just like, in my running, that hug might be the thing to ignite them, to get them running.
Yeah. That's true.
So it's like somebody got to be a truly genuine, loving person. Like God is saying, love thy neighbor as yourself, love your enemy as yourself. So my thing is, I had to first learn how to love me so I can love all those people.
Right. It's true.
But my first love was God, and then from God it was me, and from me it was the people. And it's such a genuine thing. That's why I can't tolerate fake and phoniness. I can't. It vexes my spirit, so I just can't. I can't deal with the fake and phony. Don't try to rock with me. Don't run beside me, because why are you trying to run beside me and act like you root me on, but at the same time you try to stop, you tie my shoelaces together so I trip and fall. It's like, get out my face. Because the reality is, you rooting for me, but at the same time you want me to lose the race. You know what I'm saying? So I can't. Oh, it vexes my spirit. So.
Yeah. But that's knowing the company you keep and knowing people. Like,
Yes.
I posted something today. Trust people to be who they are. You see who they are, you got to trust them to be that person. I try to look at them any other way, but this is
try
who
to make
you
them
are.
into something they not.
Yeah, man.
That is very, very true. Stop trying to make people into something that they're not. If they're a snake, you cannot turn them into a dove. It's Because just not. You know what I'm saying? You see it for what it is, but we'll keep on trying and trying and trying. And I mean that not only that people can't change if they're willing to change and they can't be like but I mean in a way it was like when you know somebody is just blatantly how can I'm trying to find the right word to say what I'm saying, but without sounding um uh without sounding like discouraging of a person, but there's just some people who are who they are and you know that.
Yeah.
And even if I love you, I can love you from a distance, but I'm not going to work on trying to change you. My job might be to just give you a word and leave you alone. But sometimes we want to stay there, like, no, I can transform them. You can't. That's God's job. I can make them anew. You can't. That's God's job. That's the problem. You got too many people out here trying to play God and trying to change people into no, your job was to do your job and to leave it alone. To leave it alone. But no, some people want to stay and think like, oh no, I could make him a better man. I could make her a better woman. Who told you to do that?
Right.
Nobody told, because my thing is you feel like you supposed to be doing something. You're not doing anything. God is doing everything. He's just using you as the vessel.
Right.
But your job is to stay focused on him and stay in the race and run. Your job, like I said, might be just to plant a seed so somebody can, and if somebody else comes in and plants another seed, because they might need more than the one seed than you have to offer.
That's right.
Before they can start being watered, a couple of seeds need to be planted. A couple of things need to happen. And then some people are just what they are.
Yeah, is it. You just gotta accept it.
That's it. Some people are just who they are. And people might disagree, and it's okay to disagree.
That's right.
But the reality is some people are just who they are, and all you can do is pray for them and keep it pushing.
That's right.
I'm a brother. I'm a pray for you, but I'm gonna stay away from you. How about that?
Yeah.
Because you right there, not gonna get me caught up in that. Not gonna do it.
Right.
So and that's because there's some people just meant to try, that are just created, or you just built up. You know what I'm saying? It's just sent to try to destroy you. Just sent to try to break you down, sent to just get you off your mission. But if you, like you said, you paying attention and you see them for what you call them as they really are, call them out, say what you need to say, and keep it pushing.
Right.
And that's what you have to be sometimes, because some people are designed just to stop you from running your race.
That's right. You've been listening to Fridays with Ty on Shift the Narrative podcast. Listen, I pray one day you'll see the need to shift the narrative in your mind. Not for anyone else, but for yourself. Because you are worth it. I am thankful and grateful for each and every one of you that has joined us today and every day. As always, I'm your host and fellow freedom fighter, Tyria. We will see you again, and thanks for listening to Fridays with Ty on Shift the Narrative podcast. Be free, y'all. Be free.